Hello and welcome to another version of today's Living Word. I'm Dwayne Match. We're continuing in the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, looking at Isaiah's heavenly vision. And I've entitled this Devo, This Ain't Clarence Odbody. We read from Isaiah 6, verse 2, above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. That's Isaiah 6, 2. So the vision continues, and God gives Isaiah a look at seraphim. Seraphim. What's a seraphim? Well, the word literally means burning. These angels appear to Isaiah as fiery creatures. Now remember, this is a vision, and it contains much symbolism. Symbolism is used to help us earthlings, if you will, grasp heavenly realities and their connection to what's going on in the rest of God's creation. Now, these seraphim, therefore, they're not a flaming mass of feathered wings, but they, first of all, as fiery angels, they're portrayed as holy, fire being synonymous with something being holy. And then secondly, they're portrayed as being on fire for their master, God Almighty. They are holy agents of God with fervent zeal for his service and for his glory. Now, incidentally, and I'm going to take a big sidetrack here, but I think it's worth repeating or talking about, I should say, because the word seraphim can also be used figuratively for a fiery serpent. Isn't that interesting? I mean, who does that make you think of, a fiery serpent? Obviously, these seraphim in Isaiah's vision here are not meant to portray Lucifer, okay? But it makes you wonder if the devil didn't start out as a seraphim, but then decided to rebel against God, and then he takes a third of the angels with him in this rebellion, which we read about in Revelation 12, verse 4. And certainly we know this, that the devil is often likened to a snake. But he and his fiery snake demons are always, and this is important to remember, always ultimately subject to God. Never forget that biblical truth. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. Now, God may allow the devil and his demons to operate in rebellion against God and his creation, but only within God's limits and only for his ultimate will and his ultimate glory. And of course, Job is the classic example there. In Job 1:12, we read, "And the Lord said to Satan, Behold, all that he has is in your power, only do not lay a hand on his person." And perhaps even more to the point is the time that God allowed fiery serpents into the camp of the complaining Israelites. In Numbers 21:6, we read, "So the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the people of Israel died." It's like God was saying, you want to complain against me? Let me show you what happens when I set the master complainer loose against you. And the deadly bite of rebellion against God, sin, led to the death of many. But God, in his mercy, provided a solution to the rebellion problem. Numbers 21:7 says, "Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he take away the serpents from us." So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall be that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, shall live." Now, I don't know about you, but I always thought that a lamb upon a pole would have been more appropriate here. But that all changed when I realized that the fiery serpent on the pole was meant to be a representation of sin and a picture of Jesus, in the sense that when he went to the cross on Calvary, he who knew no sin became sin for us that we might live. 2 Corinthians 5:21. For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Now, I know that this is a big-time sidetrack from the text, but it's also an opportunity to remind us that there's a cure for the deadly bite of sin, and it's found in Jesus. Look to Jesus Christ. Look to him and live. I'm Dwayne Matz. We'll have more on seraphim next time here. That's today's living word.